Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Hayes and I'm in the Social Science Master's Degree program here at Troy, and I propose the study which personality type correlates with trust in technology, introversion or extroversion. For my introduction, I started out by talking about the movie Her, where the main character, Theodore, after having his heart broken, basically falls in love with an artificially intelligent computer program named Samantha. Samantha breaks his heart, but teaches him a great lesson about love, and he is eventually able to love another human again and have the human interaction that he had been lacking. In my introduction, I also cite Harford, who tells a story about a plane that was being flown by 3 pilots, a commercial airliner that was equipped with autopilot, and the autopilot and the plane malfunctioned and the pilots were unable to react, and although all the pilots were highly skilled and highly trained and experienced, the plane ended up crashing and everybody on board died because they had just relied on autopilot for so long. So the author kind of describes this as the paradox of automation, and how these technologies that have been developed to make our lives so much easier have actually detrimented our cognitive abilities and have made us unable to perform, the functions that we are taught to perform. So this can also be seen in how the use of calculators has led, many people to be unable to perform simple mathematical calculations, and how the majority of us no longer memorize phone numbers when we can just Google it, or if it's just stored in our cell phone. So this paradox is explored further by another author whose article is hilariously named "Why Technology is Making Us Stupid." And this author describes the concept of cognitive offloading, which is, the lack of a need for us to memorize information when it is stored conveniently on a technological device. And this author cites a study where museum goers were actually unable to recall the pieces of art that they had seen throughout the day if they had taken pictures of them, and also people who used a GPS or navigational device while driving were unable to remember landmarks that they had passed, or were, simply unable to redrive the same route without the navigational device. So the statement of the problem is that technology has just developed so quickly that the research into, human interaction with technology and how the technology affects us is just so far behind. The purpose of the study is, that the study attempts to provide an understanding of which personality type is most likely to trust in automation, and, this kind of extends to the problems of over-trust and over-reliance on technology, hopefully in future studies. So this study is to lay the groundwork for that body of knowledge. The study will use the Myers-Briggs type indicator to determine whether participants are introverted or extroverted, and a questionnaire with questions relating to the trust in and use of technology. So for my literature review, I talked a lot about mental modeling. If you can see the guy's head with the words in it, that's to represent mental modeling, and mental modeling is basically the building upon information that we already have in our brains. With every piece of information that we encounter, or everything that we learn, everything that we perceive, every personal interaction is basically affected by all of these things, like our values, our families, our past human interactions, the people we know, our faith, so many things. And then kind of an extension of mental modeling that relates to this is the technology acceptance model. The technology acceptance model basically says that individuals are likely to use a piece of technology if it is easy to use, if the technology provides some benefit, and if the individual is motivated to do so. And the model at the bottom of your screen is meant to depict that. Lee and Song actually proposed that the decreased perceived riskiness. So if individuals think that there is a lack of riskiness, or a lack, if the piece of technology poses no risk to them, then they are also more likely to use the piece of technology. So I also went a lot into personality and technology use. And found that the majority of the studies that I found looked at the 5-factor model of personality, and that's agreeableness, extroversion, openness, conscientiousness, and neuroticism. It does not include introversion, where the few studies that I did find found that that did use introversion found that extroversion and introversion had the highest comparative correlations between all of the personality factors studied in terms of computer use and technology use. In conclusion, to my literature review, I think that all of the studies that I found were extremely exploratory, and although they all tried to look at different facets of personality, in relation to technology use and trust in technology, I think that it's just still really unclear of which personality factors should even be studied. And introversion and extroversion are often considered the most basic aspects of a person's personality, and they are, people often know whether they're introverted or extroverted without any deep analysis, or without being told whether, which one they are by a psychologist. So I think that that would be a proper place to start. So for the research design, I used the Myers-Briggs type indicator to determine whether or not whether individuals were introverted or extroverted, and a questionnaire about technology use and trust in technology. The study will use a non-probability convenience sample of 400 students and faculty or individuals who are recruited at 2 local community colleges. Data collection will take place during the spring semester of 2017. It'll take about 20 to 25 minutes for each participant to go through, and demographic information will also be collected. So the data will be analyzed using SPSS. I'll do T-tables to examine the means of responses according to introversion and extroversion, and also a one-way analysis of variance to look at the correlations between introversion, extroversion, all the demographic variables, and general use of technology. So the protocol will be reviewed by a scientific review committee as well as the institutional review board. All participants will sign a consent form. Participants will be informed that their participation is completely voluntary. The delimitations and limitations of this study. So this study is intended to contribute to the preliminary suggestion that introversion or extroversion affect individual trust in technology. Although the study will not be an exhaustive assessment of the factors that contribute to trust in technology, it should contribute to the body of research on this field. Future research should definitely include repetitions of this study with larger sample sizes and more variable demographics, as well as to include as many aspects as possible that may relate to trust, and especially over-trust in technology. The limitations of the study are mainly that the findings are not necessarily generalizable because it's using a convenient sample, and also that the study will be relying solely on self-report from participants in completing the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator and the technology questionnaire. The significance of the study is that the findings of the study will positively contribute to the fields of technology and personality, and the findings will hopefully provide a preliminary understanding of which personality factor, introversion or extroversion, is associated with more of a trust in technology. Especially the personality factors that have been understudied, which is introversion. The findings of the study could be contributed to education research as far as learning styles. The findings of this research could positively impact the technology sector as far as identifying the target audience of technology, and which groups are underserved, and may even contribute to how to serve those individuals with technology. So I think that that's about everything. Thank you very much.